Hey everyone, it's Brian with TINYCRYPTOBLOG, and today I want to talk to you about something, and to start with it I want to show you a chart. Okay, this is called the S-curve, and if you're not familiar with the S-curve, what it is, it's a simple chart that shows the implementation, see if you can get all that shows the implementation of new ideas and new technology into society. As far as inventions go, you could use it for everything from the invention of the printing press, the invention of the stirrup, cars, telephone. I'm going to take something a little bit more that newer that most of us can relate to and say cell phones. Think of smartphones. It was just, what, 10 years ago that smartphones were just introduced, and the people that were involved in the market were the techie people and the people who loved new gadgets and the big hardcore Apple fans. And as they used it, they would tell their friends would get interested, more and more people would start to use this product. And as more and more people started to use this product, the technology would evolve, where what started out as a simple smartphone where you could flip through pages and maybe check the weather, open a web browser, your phone, your pictures, take videos, maybe a few games. Now that we're at about, globally, 80% of all phones are smartphones. We're up here now, which is the maturity phase. Think about what that first smartphone has evolved into. It's gone from being a phone to a mobile computer with a phone function embedded within it. Think of all the applications. Think of all the different ways we're able to use that phone. Since more and more people have gotten involved and the technology's evolved over time. Now I want to take the same S-chart, S-curve, and apply it to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I'll put some links to YouTube channels below that I have on the TINYCRYPTOBLOG website. These are the websites, or these are the YouTube channels that I follow to get daily news, to get information, to see interviews of the people who know the in-depth stuff, as well as the channels of the people who know the in-depth stuff. And by their accounts, and they know a lot more than me, right now, globally, among all of humanity, blockchain technology and crypto tokens, cryptocurrencies, has about a 1% adoption rate. Give or take, 1.5, getting close to 2. And what that means is, so we're right here. And what that means is 1.5% of the entirety of humanity knows what blockchain technology is, knows what cryptocurrencies are, knows what Bitcoin is. 99% of humanity doesn't. So here's 1%. We could say this is 2009, you could say this is today. Maybe that 1% is a little further this way, give or take. Think about the headlines of the past year. Bitcoin, $2,000. Bitcoin, $5,000. Bitcoin, $10,000. Bitcoin, $15,000. Bitcoin, soon, $20,000. Ah, Bitcoin's in a bubble. It's bigger than Tulipmania. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And that is only with this many people involved with it. using it, talking about it, implementing technology. And what you have to understand is that blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies are going to become a mainstream, everyday application technology. What is the blockchain? That's simple. Blockchain's a ledger. It's taking a page that records transactions. It could be anything from, okay, Bob sent X amount of money to Sue, Fred sent X amount of money to Terry, and Terry gave Fred a box of pencils in return. It could be tracking the progress of this box of widgets that we scanned with a barcode scanner or RFID scanner, left a factory in Los Angeles, got onto this truck and was scanned in, then went to this seaport, then it went on this ship which went to this port in China, and then got loaded on this truck which drove down to the border near Vietnam, where it got unloaded into this little shop where it finally got scanned in and is now and is being used by the shop owner. And it's a record, a ledger of transactions. Fill up a page of these transactions, and then you take that page, attach it to the top of the second page, then start filling in the second page. Then you take this block of page 1 and page 2, put it on top of block 3, start filling in page 3, and so on and so forth. And what makes this blockchain technology unique is that the way it's written is that it's written using software that's called open source. And what open source means is that the code that's used to write it is released openly to the public. Anyone can look at it. And how that creates a layer of trust is that if someone tries to insert, say, a backdoor into the software where they can get in and do some sort of fraudulent activity, someone would be able to go into the code and go, wait a second, that doesn't seem right. And they could find that. So you have the layer of trust that it's open source software. So right now you can go and look at the software that Bitcoin is written on, or any one of the numerous other cryptocurrencies or crypto tokens, and see what the code is like. And someone could say, hey, I'm going to take this code and I'm going to make some modifications that I have these ideas for, and I'll make my own cryptocurrency or my own crypto token or my own crypto platform, my own blockchain platform. That is part of the innovation that comes with more and more people entering this space. And what adds another layer of trust to this is that it's encrypted. Whenever the ledger records a transaction happens that goes out into this network on the blockchain. Hey, this action happened. There's a process where computers connected to this network confirm these transactions. Now, with the case of cryptocurrencies and with a lot of the platforms, there's a process called mining, which is the use of the application of a mathematical algorithm to solve an encryption key for that transaction. And once it's confirmed, it becomes part of the ledger. It becomes part of the blockchain for good, forever and ever. So whether it's the very first block or it's a block 10 years later, every single transaction that's confirmed is part of that ledger, forever recorded. And these transactions, once they're on there, they can't be changed because they're encrypted, and also because of the third reason: these blockchains can be decentralized. If you think of the Equifax hack that happened a few months ago, where lots of people's credit records were stolen. The attack happened on a server where all the data was centralized into one point. On a decentralized blockchain, such as Bitcoin, it's decentralized, meaning the ledger does not reside on one computer. The ledger resides on every computer with a digital wallet, with every computer that performs confirmation transactions. All of them have a copy of this ledger. And because it's encrypted, you can't break into it. You can't crack it and change the code. If you did try to do that, or you try to insert a false transaction, it's not going to agree with a copy of the ledger that every other computer that's connected to this network has a copy of, and it will be rejected. And the implications for blockchain technology is just staggering in scope. One example I can think of, the very first one, imagine using blockchain technology for an election to record election results. The process of verifying a voter would be taking blockchain information for government records, and that government record might have someone, what records there are now: a birth certificate, a driver's license, voter registration, proof of residency, so that when they go to vote, it's registered, this person is valid, and they register to vote. And I'm sure there'd be a way to tally this anonymously so you don't know who voted for who specifically. But those votes are tallied onto the blockchain. And another thing about the blockchain as a side note is that you can go online right now to the Bitcoin network and any other cryptocurrency and verify a transaction. Each transaction has its own unique address. You can verify the transaction that shows the ledger activity. You could do the same thing with the voting record. You could verify a vote. You could verify that transaction activity of voting. If you have this as a publicly open record, you would eliminate fraudulent voting records. You would eliminate voting fraud. You wouldn't have dead grandmas voting 3 times for someone, because it could be called out. Another way the blockchain can be used was the example I gave you about the widgets. They're made here in LA and they follow each path of the way to get to that end user in that shop in Asia. In blockchain technology, there's one crypto token called Ethereum, and it's a usage token. And how it works is that there is a platform that you can write what's called smart contracts, which is essentially that path of tracking the widgets from point A all the way to point B. You can create a lot of if-then parameters. Or for example, when this box is scanned in at the factory and changes hands to the truck driver, the next step is the truck driver, as soon as it gets dropped off to the port, it gets scanned in, it gets verified on the blockchain that it's been delivered by the driver. The smart contract can be written so that a payment transaction takes place immediately. And that payment transaction verifies, yes, the money did go from the shipper or the factory. It went from the factory's account with their bank to the bank or the account of the truck driver. And there's verification that it went through. So we know that payment A that the payment went from bank A to bank B, and there was no funny business in the middle. And we could go back at any point and verify that. And every time that widget goes from hand to hand, payments can be executed all along the blockchain. And the idea with Ethereum is that you give up a little bit of this usage token that you own. Let's say you own 1 Ethereum at whatever value it is, in whatever currency. It would cost, say, a fraction of that to perform the transaction. And that little bit that you pay off, that is what goes to the miners who confirm the transactions. That's their payment for their equipment, for the electricity usage. And because there's a utility, a usage utility to the Ethereum token, that is where there's value, where there's monetary value behind it, wealth value behind it. And so payment of that is a payment of wealth into that network to confirm all these transactions and make the blockchain happen. Blockchain technology and the applications is beyond even the scope of all the things that I could think of beyond just those 2 examples. And the implementation of it is here. Governments are vesting themselves in blockchain technology. Businesses are vesting themselves in blockchain technology. Banks, financial institutions, individuals who are into technology, programmers, they're vesting themselves into blockchain technology and looking at ways it can improve everyday applications. One day when you go and swipe your credit card, the payments and the registration of the payments is going to be on a blockchain. We won't see it, but it'll be running in the background. That will be blockchain technology. That way we know there were no fraudulent credit card transactions. They can be checked. They can be audited. We know that the money went from point A in this bank to point B in this bank. It wasn't rerouted for fraudulent uses. Bernie Madoff wouldn't be able to happen if all financial funds and investment funds were required to be on a blockchain that could be publicly and visually audited and inspected, because every transaction would be recorded on this ledger permanently. You couldn't have an Enron. So much fraudulent activity could be eliminated. The scope is just huge. Remember, we're right there. We are right there. I'm bringing this up because take what blockchain technology can do and the things we haven't even thought of that the people on this part of the adoption chain will think of. Think of the smartphones and how they've evolved. Think of blockchain today and just what little I told you. And just imagine how it's going to evolve. It'll be mind-blowing. And now think about all the headlines that happened this year with cryptocurrencies. We are at the point now where more and more of the remaining 99% of the entirety of the human race, that's the people in the United States, that's the people in Russia, that's all the people in China and Asia, that's the people in Europe, that's all the unbanked in Africa. Every single human being around the world is going to be learning about blockchain technology, learning about cryptocurrencies and crypto platform and decentralized platforms and the usage tokens. And they're going to want to be involved with this as well. They're going to want to own these new currencies. They're going to want to own these currencies that can be trusted, that have a limited supply, because that's how the software is written. That it can't be created out of thin air like fiat currencies are today, like the US dollar, the euro, the yen, every single other fiat, unbacked fiat currency around the world. They're going to want to be a part of this. Think of the Bitcoin headlines and think of where the price potential is going to be. If you, watching this video now, you get in here today, the fact that you are seeing this video now, you have the opportunity to be an early adopter, to get yourself into cryptos, into cryptocurrencies, crypto tokens, the crypto space, and invest yourself, either buying cryptos or getting involved with the technology in some sort of way, and riding this wave lifted by the rest of humanity. If you could have gotten involved in the internet in its early days, would you? If you had the opportunity again, would you? Could you imagine trying to make investments and hoping one of them might be the next Yahoo, the next Amazon, the next Google, the next whatever platform? No, not all of them will survive, and no, not all of the ones you end up picking will end up panning out. They might fade out. Maybe the organization isn't able to innovate. Maybe the technology changes in a direction that they're not able to adapt to. That happens. But wouldn't you want to be on the ground floor anyway? If you're watching this video right now, if we're still here, that's where your opportunity exists. If you're watching this a year from now, you're probably going to be right here. If you're watching this 2 years from now, you're probably going to be right here. It said that with software, it takes anywhere between 5 to 10 years. So in 5 to 10 years, you will have missed the bus as far as riding this wave. You'll be in the expansion to the maturity phase. But wherever you are at when you're watching this video, this is your time. This is your time to jump in. This is your time to decide if you want to get involved. The opportunity has presented itself right now. Right now, you watching this video is the opportunity. For the reasons I just explained, you can vest yourself financially and ride this wave. I never like saying something is a sure thing, ever, ever, because there's always a risk, there's always a downside. With the information I just told you, I can't say anything else but. I can't. The rate of adoption is increasing. The main exchange right now is Coinbase in the US and several other countries around the world. And the Apple Store, the Coinbase app, which you use to buy cryptocurrencies using your local currency, euros, an Asian currency, US dollars. That app is the top most downloaded app on the Apple Store now. 100,000 new people a day are opening up Coinbase accounts. People are seeing the headlines from the past year of how much Bitcoin moved up from $1,000 to probably, by the time after this video is made, $20,000. They're seeing what happens when you buy it, you hold it, and they want to be a part of it. They're doing their research. They're watching videos, they're reading websites, They're learning about cryptocurrencies. They're learning about blockchain technology. They're learning about how to trade on exchanges. They're learning these things. And they're vesting themselves now. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make the horse drink. If you have now this feeling of I don't want to say displacement, but almost an apprehension, it's because you get it, but you don't know anything yet. You don't understand why. You don't understand the ins and outs. It makes sense. It makes sense. What I've just said makes sense. How I understand that information makes sense. And you get it. You get it. But you don't know anything about cryptos. You don't know anything about blockchain technology. And that lack of understanding is what's creating that apprehension, because you don't have the knowledge up here to match what you're feeling here and what you intuitively know. That's why, and I'll have links below the video to the website I have, TINYCRYPTOBLOG. Its whole purpose is to help educate you so that you can learn about cryptos, so you can learn about blockchain technology. I post articles on there. I have pages such as the YouTube pages, which have the channels that I follow, so that you can start to follow these channels and you can start to pick up things. And you can start to do research. And you can start developing your own understanding about cryptocurrencies, about blockchain technology, about the crypto space in general. That's what the website is designed to do. It's designed to help you. I've been down this road. And there's three main points that I've learned about the crypto space. One, everything that you do falls upon your shoulders. You are responsible for your choices. You can't offload it onto someone else. You can't say, oh, it's the government's fault, there's no regulations, or it's the bank's fault, it's Jamie Dimon's fault, it's someone else's fault that made a bad decision. No, it's your fault that you made a decision, either because you didn't have the right information or enough information. Which leads to point number 2. Ignorance always gets punished. And that punishment might be you get scammed and your money gets taken because you put it into something that you didn't understand. And that happened to me. Or it could be something where you invested your money in something and didn't realize, oh, I should have waited for reason X, Y, and Z. So I missed out on investing in an opportunity because I didn't have the funds and I had locked it up in here, or I had it over there, or I took some sort of action. So it may not be a severe thing, but ignorance will be punished. Meaning it'll go against your better interests. And by saying that you're ignorant, it's not saying that you're stupid. It just says you haven't learned, there are things you haven't learned yet. That's it. That's why I share what I share, to help you so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I made and numerous other people made. And if you know nothing, take another leap about cryptos at all. Nothing at all. This is the first time you've seen it. You may have heard something. This is the first real time you've been exposed to it. This is your first step down the rabbit hole. On the website at the top of the page, there's a link that says Crypto for Beginners. And there's a link that says, in that page, I know nothing about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Teach me. Educate me. And there's a series of, I believe, 7 5-minute videos that goes over what is Bitcoin, how does a transaction work, what's a digital wallet, what's mining, how to protect my cryptos, and a few other topics. What is the blockchain? And there's also a link if you're a person like me, you just want to jump in, buy something, and figure things out as you go along. You can do that too. There's a link below. It shows how you can set up an account with Coinbase and set up a digital wallet on your computer. And there's no charge for that. And by setting up an account with Coinbase, either through the link or going on your phone and setting up downloading the Coinbase app, you can register, verify through an email, add a credit card to your account, and buy cryptos today. Today. Right now. Today. You eventually would want to tie in a bank account because it's lower transaction fees, but you can start buying cryptos today, and I have links for that. I also have links for scams, so you understand the different ways and the different schemes that are out there of how people are trying to get other people's money, other people's wealth, through different investment schemes. And that is the whole point of the website. It's to help educate you so that you can jump in here, now, or wherever you are on this point and be a smarter, better educated, and less apprehensive person in the process. So if you like the information I've given you and you want to know more and follow me along my own journey as I share the things I discover and learn, hit the subscribe button. If you liked this video and you found something useful, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. And if you didn't like it, tell me why. Tell me if there's something you wish I had covered. Because some of my best content so far has stemmed from people's questions. And with that, I'm going to wrap this up and say, do your homework, because every decision rests upon your shoulders, because ignorance will always be punished. And be well, everyone. Take care.